Bruce, you must have something really good too.
Of course I do. It's Bruce Danielson, and I guess I'm here to entertain you too.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday, December 1st, Sioux Falls City Council meeting. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll go ahead and get started by reading our roll, please.
Council members Neitzer, Selberg, Selberg,
Here.
Sale,
Here.
Starr,
Here.
Brecky,
Here.
Erickson,
Here.
Jensen,
Here.
Kylie.
Here.
All right, here to give our invocation tonight is Pastor Randy Gehring with Our Savior's Lutheran Church. I'd ask that you rise for his invocation and stay standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mayor. This afternoon I was standing in St. Paul Lutheran Cemetery outside Elk Point, South Dakota, presiding at the graveside service of one of our members. It was a picturesque setting, nestled as it is amid rolling hills. There's nothing quite like the South Dakota prairie on a cool December afternoon. On this particular occasion, I read these words from Psalm 121. I lift my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. Tonight, I offer these words to you, council members, mayor, as encouragement, as an anchor point, as you continue the important and often difficult work of governing our city. Each of you has been called into this work by the will of the people. Your gifts and passion are well suited for this work, but especially in these days when the burden of your work tests your mettle and maybe even causes you to question whether you're up to the task, when easy answers are nowhere to be found and an end to this viral plague is still well off in the future, remember that your greatest strength is found not when you rely on your own fortitude and commitment, but when you rely upon the one who never leaves your side, the one who made heaven and earth, the one who promises to provide a way forward. Please pray with me. Holy God, you have called these leaders to this holy work of governance and decision-making. Guide them by your ever-present Spirit. Give them your aid so that their collective labor may bear fruit that provides for the common good of all who call this city home. Recognizing your presence among us now, we humbly pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, Pastor Gehring, for the invocation. We'll move on to our consent agenda item, number 4. Look for any changes or motions there.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Starr.
Yes, thank you. Sub-item 25 to, I'd like to pull to and make it agenda item 6. And then sub-item 5 in the change order memo to agenda item number 7.
All right. That's noted. Other changes, council, to the consent agenda?
Right. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Item 13, applications under various alcohol licenses. I'd like to pull from Exhibit C, La Coretta LLC, located at 2309 West Madison Street.
All right, that is noted as well. Any other changes, council? All right, hearing none, let's look for a motion to approve this then.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Sale.
All right, motion by Erickson, seconded by Sale to approve this. Any discussion there? All right, let's take a vote, please.
Councilmembers Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. We'll move on to our next item, item 18, our regular agenda. Look for any changes or motions there.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Sale.
All right, motion by Erickson, seconded by Sale to approve this. Any discussion on the regular agenda? All right, let's take a vote, please.
Councilmembers Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky, Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. We're on to our general public input portion of our agenda tonight. As a reminder, input during this portion will last no more than 3 minutes per person, and in total lasts no more than 30 minutes. During general public input, the public is welcome to speak on any topic that does not appear later on the agenda. For regular agenda items following general public input, comments are limited to 3 minutes unless the item is being presented for final adoption, in which case public input is limited to 5 minutes. For all regular agenda items, comments are limited to the agenda item under consideration only. So at this time, I'd like to invite any members of the public forward. This is for general public input. And please note, our time is 7:07. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilors. I'm John Cunningham. For the last 9 months, citizens of Sioux Falls have been looking for some leadership in the fight against COVID. At the national level, where leadership would be most effective, what we've seen has been conflicting, contradictory, much of it bad, and some of it dangerous. As a result, we're the worst run country in the world for COVID. At the state level, where leadership would be still very effective, it hasn't been conflicting or contradictory. The leadership has been aggressively absent. As a result, we're the worst run state and the worst run country in the world. Sioux Falls has a serious outbreak of COVID, and belatedly, it would have been useful 8 months ago, 100 lives or so might have been saved. 4 members of the council stood up and said that they would finally, belatedly, decide to lead. They were defeated, of course, but I think it would be nice if we could give them a round of applause if we could. But I think we should also recognize a couple of members who voted consistently against it. While the 4 were very concerned about the health and welfare and safety and well-being of our citizens, some were not. They made excuses, but they didn't. They were consistent and honest about it. And I respect that, even if I vehemently disagree. What I can't understand is the decision by some members to vote for a mask mandate, to tell some people they can have a mask mandate, and other people, well, you don't have to. It's not really a mandate. Speaking out of both sides of the mouth, what you have there is a mask mandate, a law that says you must wear a mask unless you don't want to. Sort of like our ethics law that says you cannot accept gifts from a lobbyist unless you want to. We have in this state, in this city, or in this city, government of the people, government by the people. But so far, we're struggling to find government for the people. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good evening, sir.
Dennis Haugen, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I wholeheartedly disagree with the gentleman that's previously spoke. there are no clear answers as to how to stop COVID. And we have to keep things in balance. And as far as I'm concerned, you balance things very well. Sometimes it goes a long ways to encourage people rather than to boss them around and tell them what to do every minute. In some cities, states, all kinds of draconian rules. When you put people out of business, you're putting a lot of workers out of business. They need paychecks. You're devastating people's lives. So you have to balance between people needing to make a living and trying to do the best you can to protect people. And sometimes the only way you can do it is just encourage people to do certain things until you find out that that probably is not the whole answer. Then you move quickly and try something else. But I find it very offensive to say this is the worst city, this is the worst state, this is the worst country. The previous gentleman has no numbers. He's just using adjectives. I don't see any evidence for what he's saying that, we are the best run city in the United States. We are the best run state, and we are the best run nation. And it's our ingenuity that brought vaccinations in warp speed time. What other country would do that? Not very many. Takes leadership, takes somebody that can put the incentives in the right place and get things going, and it's not easy. So you are a well-run city, and you've done the well-balanced thing. And Kristi Noem has done a good job. She's very balanced in her approach. So I find it offensive that somebody just comes up here and says all these bad things. Got no numbers, nothing, just uses adjectives. Just walk around and say bad, bad, bad all day. I say good, good, good. You've done a good job. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Catherine Riffle. I'm an advocate for the homeless and displaced persons here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I had mentioned a while back that if I come across, excuse me, but I have problems breathing with my mask on. I get claustrophobic. Since nobody's close to me, I'm taking the time to take it off. I had mentioned that if another person died on our streets, I was holding our persons here in charge accountable. Well, not just since then has one or two or more. We've had a lot more people go down on our streets. And I, with Dennis Nelson, Kermit, and a few others, had started the Homeless Coalition 10 years ago. We guaranteed that they would run for 2 to 3 years. And after that, they had to do their own financials. We've also had Native tribal councilors come and donate millions of dollars to the Homeless Coalition. Well, the Homeless Coalition took a bump not too long back. I was here a little earlier. I did not, because of my strokes, I don't have time. So I was here earlier. When I was here, the Housing Commission had their to-do here, just like you all sitting here. And when Melanie Bliss left, the new girl took over, a young girl with all the qualifications. Well, she stood up here to claim that the Homeless Coalition had unexplainably lost or misplaced, quote and unquote, $185 million in the last 10 years. Well, in the last 10 years, that means that all that money's been sitting there doing nothing to help the people, while I'm out there picking dead people up under the bridges, from the flood waters, in the middle of the streets, et cetera, et cetera. So now I'm here to tell you all, I am holding you all responsible, including Mike Uther and anybody else who was in them seats at the time in the last 10 years. They said no one took that $185 million. Well, I claim you wrong because I found it. It's under anonymous gift, 2-word sentence. Anonymous gift, $185 million. Well, I am now holding people responsible. I have got my legal papers, I've got my signatures, I've got everything that I need to do with. And I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to be here every meeting, and I'm going to say almost the same things until y'all fix what you blew. Then people on the streets need more help than what you're doing. Give them back that $185 million. You don't need it out there in the northwest of town for the games and all that. Give it back to the people. Put it back where it belongs and stop stealing and lying. Now, I'm an advocate for the people, and I stand here for those people. And you want numbers, you want names, I got them. And that's all I got to say tonight. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening for general public input? All right, the next item, please.
Next item is of agenda item 6, it's sub-item 25, Planning and Development Housing, Site Acquisition Development Agreement. The agreement provides funding to acquire the lot at 6501 West Verbena Street, construct a house at the CTE Academy, move the house to Verbena Street, and construct the foundation, utility connections, etc. at Verbena. Affordable Housing Solutions, $264,950.36.
Counselor Starr.
Absolutely. I was hoping Shelley's here to just give us a quick explanation of what's going on. The thing that stood out to me is that we're going to spend $265,000 to build a single-family home. How do we recoup part of the cost, or tell me, is it just a program with a partnership with CTE?
So with the Verbena home, the sale price will be $194,500, which we will recoup the majority of that sales price. The expenses for this home are higher than normal for our average home sale, or homes that are built and sold through our partnership with Affordable Housing Solutions, although COVID did play a factor into this home. So COVID shut down the schools prematurely. Therefore, the students could not finish the work on Verbena. So what normally would have been completed by students had to be contracted out, which added additional cost. Additionally, the housing moving contractor that we've been working with for many years closed their business. So the closest house moving company that we have to partner with is in Millbank, South Dakota. So the costs have also increased for moving. And then the lot where this home was placed was higher than what we normally pay for a lot. So our average lot cost is around $17,000, and we had to pay around $33,000 for this Verbena lot. The reason why is that the lot that this house was originally intended for, the cost to move that would have been astronomical, and so we needed to find a lot that was closer to CTE to make the cost of moving more affordable. So you see those changes, all of those factors reflected in this change order.
Sounds good. Tell me just a little bit about the partnership with CTE and what normally would have happened prior to COVID, and because to me that's where the difference is, working with those students and the workforce development, I guess, is what makes this palatable.
Yes, so the reason why the CTE program is successful for us is because we're able to utilize the students to essentially build the home. So our labor costs are significantly less when we build a home through CTE. Now, some of that cost is absorbed or offset when we move the home. So when we build a home on site, then we don't have the moving cost. When we build a home with CTE, then we do have the moving cost. So that kind of balances a little bit of the labor that we would save. But the net benefit of working with CTE is producing a skilled labor, which we desperately need within the housing industry, and we see specifically within the housing programs.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Shelley? Anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? All right. Can I get a motion on this item?
Move approval, Jensen.
Okay, motion by Jensen, seconded by Erickson to approve this item. Is there discussion, council, on this? All right, hearing none, let's take a vote, please.
Councilmember Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Next item, please.
Next item is public parking, Village on the River, change order due to reduction in CM contingency. Journey Group Companies doing business as Journey Construction. Negative $563,279.46.
Counselor Starr.
Yep, I didn't know if there was any, thank you. I think Mr. Pritchett's pulling it up. Give me just a quick overview of what where does the 500,000 roughly go, then back into the parking fund, or how does I think your chart explains exactly what I want to know.
Yep, so it's a good appropriate time to kind of give you an update as we're beginning to close out this project. The original, I did distribute a slide here and just had one slide up here as well, but the total original project budget for the Village on the River construction was $20.6 million. Back in November of 2018, or excuse me, I think that was actually 2018 there. We had an amendment for $1.5 million, which increased the total project budget to $22.1 million. It was 2019, excuse me, to $22.1 million total. Then we have actual expenditures of $20.7 million to date for this project. And then the amount that's still committed to the project that hasn't been expended, but is obligated as part of existing contracts after this change order, so after the reduction of the $563,000, leaves about $500,000 to be obligated. Most of that is still with Journey, the contractor, and all of that is really related to retainage. So there's certain time periods that we can release retainage depending on triggers and for particular subcontractors for that. So that amount is still being retained, but the negative change order then releases the CMAR contingency that was related to the GMP contract with Journey. So it leaves a remaining balance of about $800,000 that is part of the project construction budget, but is currently not obligated. If not expended, and we don't expect a lot of additional construction costs related to this as it's reaching its conclusion, would be retained within the enterprise fund for the parking fund, which is had put in about $5.6 million in cash toward this project.
Sounds good. Thank you. I think I kept up with the CMAR and the abbreviation, so I think I know where we're headed, and I agree it's an appropriate time to update us with what's going on, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? All right, councilors, any discussion here? All right, there'll be no action on this item as it's just a notice, so we'll move on to our next pulled consent item.
The next item is item 13, various retail liquor, packaged liquor, and retail wine license renewals for 2021 to be operated at various locations in the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, identified as Exhibit C. The item is La Carreta LLC, La Carreta, 2309 West Madison Street.
All right, Councilor Neitzer, you want the floor on this?
Yeah, please. Would it be appropriate if I maybe wait for public input? We may or may not have a neighbor who might want to speak, and then I'll just speak to it, maybe ask the applicant a question.
Sure. If there is anyone here to speak on this item, public input on this license, please come forward. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. I just wanted to say that I live behind the bar, and I've lived there all my life.
Can you state your name, ma'am? Can you state?
Albertus.
Deborah Hardis? Okay, thanks.
Albertus.
Albertus, thank you. Go ahead.
I've lived there off and on all my life. My mom still lives there. She owns a small trailer court. It's always been a family bar or a neighborhood bar. I've never had any complaints, and I moved back 16 years ago. And since this bar has been open, I cannot go to bed without hearing their bass. My daughter was over one weekend. We put the girls to bed. We were watching TV, and she goes, "Oh my God, Mom, how can you handle this?" I said, "I can't." And I've called the non-emergency number several times. I feel that it doesn't get really situated, you know. I don't want anybody to lose, I don't want him to lose his livelihood. I just want him to not have all that noise. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Deborah.
And I want to address this. I get a call at 9:30 at night from a sergeant saying that the La Creta and the Pave is high crime areas. So I'm going through the call log here. We have some issues with the La Creta. And I want to state that that shooting that happened, I'm not going to get involved in that because it's still under investigation, but that shooting did not occur on his property. It occurred across the street. I don't care if the suspects went to his bar or not went to his bar. That is totally different from that shooting incident. That is not a regular customer of his. I tend not to take up for people in high crime areas, and you know this. I'm adamant about when the police is going to call me and say, Sarah, I think we need to discuss this. It's serious. This should have been dealt with PAVE and La Creta for quite some time. I put up the call log on La Creta, and we have 20 calls for service. Is that really high crime area, the calls for service? I say no. So there's 2 sergeants and 4 officers, and I'm going to go against all those officers and 1 sergeant, and 1 sergeant said, let's continue working with La Creta. The La Creta bar is not an issue compared to other bars in the city that we're facing. The La Creta bar has some liquor law violations here. The robbery happened. He was a victim of the robbery. We're not going to get into that because it's an open investigation. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 liquor law violations here. Do I think that this is a high crime area? Absolutely not. Do I believe that he don't need to be having people in his facility after 2 p.m. and the cleaners have to be out at 2:30? Yes. On behalf of that, I understand that he might not understand this. He understands now that he cannot have people in his facility. What I'm not getting at is I have officers and sergeants on their viewpoints here. If this is such a high call volume area, 6 and 7 times on this alcohol violation, we needed to cite tickets then, if that's the case. I'm going to work with Mr. Ramos here. This is a bar. This is in a neighborhood. We have the garage bar across the street. There's fights there all the time that leads to his parking lot and the police is called. We have Harley Davidson, biker dudes, and a big festival going on there during the summertime with the booming and the loud music. Where's the complaints on that? I listen to both sides and I listen to the people that complain in the neighborhood. He has put up cones for the trafficking, that because Mexicans have a high volume traffic area, he wants a place where people can dance. He's put up that. He has taken the trash around his area and cleaned it up. Everything that the neighbors asked him to do, he has done. The volume of his music needs to be determined by the police with their meters. I have called Dominic and told the police they need to use those meters on there. I will be in his bar this weekend, next weekend, and the following weekend. If we have issues with the police, I'll address it because they know what time of day it is with me. We're not going to be doing this nitpicking stuff. If he is breaking the law and the rules and the regulations, we need to nip it in the bud and nip it in the bud now. When we have a sergeant from 17 years on that police department first calling me and saying, Sierra, we have an issue, we're stressed. Something needs to be done. We're not getting hurt in that police department. And I'm going to stop right there before I go too far and name names. I don't see an issue with the La Creta bar. He did what he's supposed to do. He has gone far and beyond what he needs to do in that neighborhood. If the people have an issue with the bar in his neighborhood, they should have came here and when he got his license, and they should have spoke about these issues and these complaints. Before it was a bar, we had another owner that had a hip hop. Do we have the numbers to this hip hop here? And I'm not gonna, and I see on the corner of my eye the lieutenant here, but I'm very serious about this. I'm not gonna play politics with the police. I'm telling you now. I wanted these issues addressed because the police wanted them addressed, okay? I'm gonna say that Lacretis is trying to make a living here. And I don't think that he has a problem compared to PAVE, and we're gonna talk about that when PAVE comes up.
All right, anyone else here to speak on this tonight? All right, Councilor Neitzer, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you. I want to be really clear on the front end. I have no interest in voting no on their license. I'm not asking that we deny the renewal of their license. The point of this was I just wanted it to be an opportunity for the neighbor to state her concerns and also just to get it on the record and also to essentially be able to ask publicly for the applicant just to be a good neighbor and to work on the noise issue. I have looked into this and talked to PD and to health, and calls are up over previous years, but it's not terribly out of line when it comes to police calls for an establishment like this. There's some other ancillary issues. There was once they were open after 2 a.m. They've now been informed they can't do that. They got a letter to that effect from the city, and so that will be watched. Really what it comes down to, and I've had lengthy discussions with Deborah, and she's been eminently fair. She's just asking that she be able to sleep. She has no interest in their business being shut down or anything like that. It's simply just a matter of just being a good neighbor, and she and any other neighbors have had to call the non-emergency number, and then police have to go out there to deal with these noise complaints, and that's not efficient or good for anybody. So what I've found dealing with this in the past, it's about education and working with the property owner or the applicant, and also getting health involved, because they can do a lot of education. They can go out and they can actually measure the noise and help them figure out what volume to set their music at so that they're within code and that they don't bother neighbors. But so I'm just asking the applicant to take that to heart, work with health, and do whatever they can to just remember that you're you're in a neighborhood here, so you also have to balance your business along with the neighbors. And I guess if the applicant would like to say anything, I'd be happy to have them come up and speak to anything that they're doing, or if they've talked to health already, and anything that we could do in terms of assisting, because I'd love to be part of the solution that doesn't include enforcement. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Counselor. The applicant is here. If you want to address any of this, sir, you sure can come forward and do that this time. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm the owner of La Carreta Bar. What I got to say is that I've been doing my best on trying to get everything situated. I mean, the people that lives in the trailer court has never come up to me and say, you need to watch your music or anything like that. The other people have, so I've been trying to fix the issues, all the other issues around the bar by like putting cones out because they were complaining the people was parking in their parking lots. So like I say, I don't know, they just, I mean, I went and bought cones and put them all around the driveways at 9 o'clock at night. And I picked them up before I leave the bar, before I leave at 2 o'clock. And then I try to look for all the bottles that are possibly out there. So I don't understand what's going on. And like I say, the officers, when they show up, they tell me, we have a complaint about the noise. But as we are here, the music is not that loud. But they never had anything to check the number of the loud music. And all they say, well, if you can just lower it down. So I walked in there and I lower it down. And I say, what do you guys think? Is that fine? Is that good enough? And they're like, yeah, that's good enough. So that's what we've been doing. And like I say, if any of the people that lives around there comes to me and tells me the problem, I try to figure something out so I can keep the bar as best as I can. So I can keep the neighbors happy too. So that's what I think I'm doing the right thing by doing all that. And I'm not a person that you cannot speak with. I mean, if anybody that comes to me and tells me, you know what, you got a problem, okay, let me know, we'll talk about it, and then I'll try to do the best I can to get it fixed. So that's why I say, I mean, and I have had aggressive people come to me and tell me aggressively, lower your music down, which I just don't say anything. I turn around, and it was one time I remember it was like noon, and I was throwing garbage, and I just backed up my truck to the garbage can, opened up the doors, and I jumped out of the truck, and I was throwing the garbage away. When this person came out and and rudely told me to turn my music off, I didn't say anything. I jumped out of my truck, went in my truck, turned it off, and keep doing what I'm doing. So,
All right.
like I say, I mean, not even when they come up to me rude, I don't even go up, I don't even say anything. I just do what they want, their best, they want me to do, because I don't want them to be disturbed, because I'm gonna be at that place as long as I can. So, because this is the only job I got, so I want to see if I want to do the best that I can to keep everybody else happy. But if they keep continuing on trying to put me in a bad spot, why don't they come to me and ask me about it? I mean, I bought a different kind of speaker so that the music is lower. I've been trying to do my best, but like I say, I don't know, people need to come to me and tell me and talk to me, because I don't think I'm that bad of a person that you cannot talk to.
Okay, thank you, sir. What was your name, sir?
My name is Juan Nuno.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant while he's up here? All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here. All right, look for a motion on this item.
Mr. Mayor,
Go
before,
ahead, Councilor Starr.
I'll move to approve, and then we'll go that direction, then I'll ask questions.
Okay, motion by Starr, seconded by Erickson to approve. We'll move into discussion. Councilor Starr?
Yes, actually, I have Chief Burns sent Lieutenant Hinkle for both of these items tonight, so I had a couple of questions for him, if that's okay.
Good evening, Kevin.
Evening, Kevin Henkel, Lieutenant, City of Sioux Falls Police Department.
Good evening, Lieutenant. Help me, tell me what's going on. What are you guys seeing, and what can we do to help them make everybody happy, which I've given up on a long time ago, but I at least make the attempt.
I think I ran all the numbers last night, and since August 31st of 2019, there's been 29 calls for service there. 10 of those have been noise complaints, and then we've got 5 case reports for liquor law violations. 3 of those are for being in the bar after 2 a.m., and 2 of those are for underage, believed underage consumption in the bar. As far as we've taken steps as to assigning officers that are now checking the bar on weekends, Friday and Saturday nights, doing walkthroughs, making sure we're getting out of there by 2 a.m. We've tried to educate. We've done the case reports. We forward those on to licensing, and we'll address the problems as they come up.
All right, so that takes me in a whole different direction because I didn't know about the underage. Those are convictions and been prosecuted, and what stage are they in?
Those are case reports that are being investigated from part of the open investigation into the shooting that happened outside of the bar.
And then the liquor law violations, have those been prosecuted, or where are they?
Case reports that were completed and forwarded on to licensing, but no citations were given at the time. Warnings and education were given at the time.
That's a whole different thing than noise in my world that are there, but obviously being that they haven't been cited or they haven't been prosecuted. I guess that'll be my next round of questions. The thing I heard from the applicant is that I think he needs some assistance from the health department of how to measure his noise. How do we get him that help?
Dominique emailed me today, and we will work on that this coming week.
Awesome. That's it for you. Thank you.
Any other questions for Kevin while we got him up here? All right, thanks, Kevin. All right, we've got a motion, a second on the floor here. Any further discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Yeah, and having a little experience with this, and first I want to say I can't see the applicant face to face. I can see him on TV. He can't see me, so so it's hard to have that eye contact. But I want him to know that this was not about embarrassing him. I don't want to hurt his business. I want him to be able to run his business. And having dealt with this before at a few other places, there's things that we can do, and I'm glad to hear that Dominic is involved, and I had a dialogue with him as well. They can, and I can't speak for the administration, but there's things that they can do that they've done in the past where they've gone out to a place and then they can literally measure the music and they can figure out what volume can you set it at and be within ordinance. And they can also help the neighbor in terms of understanding what is legal and what isn't, and then and really that can solve the problem. So that's what I'm looking for here, and that's what I think we're going to get, is helping him know how to do the right thing and knowing what his limits are, and also for the neighbor to understand. And then I think we'll be in a good place. So I would love if they work on that, and I'm happy to support this with the education. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Counselor. Any other discussion here?
Mr. Mayor?
Counselor Starr.
I need a little help who I want to ask this question to, but I want to know more about the underage and the liquor law violations. Do I need to talk to Jamie, or is the city attorney ready to do that?
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. I guess I'll let you ask your question first.
There you go. Are the underage reports or violations moving forward? Are they pending, or have they been moved on? We have a licensee that fails one sting, and we take it very seriously. This is multiple, so I'm trying to figure out where they're at or what the status of those violations are. Or reported violations alleged. I want to make sure I get all of that if it's not been.
Right. When it comes to renewals, and we have the people come through that have had failed those stings, that is because they have had a conviction of an underage sale. And I believe that Lieutenant Hinkle alluded to that it's all still under investigation and that there has not been any convictions at this point. So I would not be considering that as far as his renewal is at this time. Now, let's just say the investigation goes on. Next year we find out that there is a conviction, then yes, he would come before you at renewal time to speak to those convictions.
And that would be the same then with the liquor law violations. Are those pending, or they're under investigation yet?
I believe that he alluded to that they're under investigation. Now, he did state that case reports are shared with myself, and they are. I did receive those, and if it's something that obviously hasn't been convicted and that would come before the council, obviously, I work with the applicant. I phoned the applicant, and we discussed the information that I had received. And then I typically follow up with a letter to him going over exactly what we talked about on the phone, putting citation, notations of the law that I spoke with him about, such as being in the bar after hours. There's a specific ordinance that we have on the books that I copy that and paste that in the letter so that he has it. And then any other issues that we discussed, I kind of wrap it up in the letter and send it to him. And then I also put my name and number and everything in there. And if we have questions, he can call me back and discuss or whatever. And we've had communication several times. So.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Any other discussion on this? All right, let's take a vote.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 8-0. Next item, please.
Item 20, deferred from the meeting of Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. Renewal of 2021 retail liquor license for PAVE 130 South Phillips Avenue. Item 21, new 2020-21 retail malt beverage South Dakota Farm wine license and new 2021 retail wine and cider license for Vinyl Taco, 3609 Southwestern Avenue. Item 22, transfer of 2020-21 retail malt beverage South Dakota Farm wine license, including video lottery terminals from MG Oil Company, Bubba J's, 114 North Indiana Avenue, to MG Oil Company, Lucky Lady Casino 2, 605 West 11th Street, with conditional use permit being approved on November 4th, 2020. Item 23 is a special one-day liquor license for Zoological Society of Sioux Falls to be operated at the Great Plains Zoo and Delbridge Museum, 805 South Kiwanis Avenue, for a holiday social on December 12th, 2020.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Jamie.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. I'm here to answer any questions that you have on items 20 through 23, and also to request a motion to withdraw item 23 per the applicant's request. That event has been canceled due to COVID concerns.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Let's go ahead and deal with that motion and withdraw, and then we'll move to the other business. So can I get a motion on that?
Make a motion to withdraw item 23.
Second.
All right, motion by Erickson, seconded by Jensen to withdraw 23. Any discussion there? All right, let's take a vote on that.
Council members Neitzer,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale, Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yeah.
All right, that passes 8-0. Let's now move into any public input for those other items, items 20 to 22. Is anyone here to speak on those?
Sierra Broussard, Sioux Falls. So as the president of the neighborhood association, I contacted MG Oil. We had some issues before they came. They had a bad reputation here. MG Oil has improved. They want a second casino. They're going to put 2 employees into their casino to have second. They're going to spend about $80,000 remodeling, putting in big lightings outside and trash. They are cooperating with me on issues out there. It is a very rough environment and it's a very poor area, which doesn't mean that they cannot have a business there. I support Lucky Ladies for this second casino here. The landlord with Murray's Properties has been working very well to reduce and suppress the crime in that area. Getting on to PAVE, and grant you, I don't have nothing with PAVE. I am here to speak on behalf of these policemen that can't come up here, okay? So, PAVE, we've been having a lot of calls for volume, 90 calls for volume, and out of those 90 calls, we have a lot of fights and disorderlies. Mind you, that the police is there to be there when stuff arises. That's what they get paid for, right? Yes, absolutely. Then you have your security that he's put in place. The police have done everything to curb and deter the illegal activity going on the outside. They are still going to fight and calls. When we have this type of call volume, the police says, Sierra, can you ask counsel, what is a normal call volume for a property? Can we put a number on a call volume on a property? I'm going to speak on 4 of these officers that are strictly downtown. When we have all these calls for service here with all these fights, we either overpouring alcohol, we're not monitoring people's behaviors. Officers have been in physical fights and it has been off duty at PAVE. And I want to get that clear. There has officers that have been hurt at PAVE. Is it their job? Yes. But it's not their responsibility to be PAVE's personal police. When a bar has this much security in it, there is no sense that we have this many calls for service for fights. You change your music style, you put up a dress code violation, a dress code there. There's ways to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. A couple of years ago, we brought up Wiley's. And one officer told me that when our Wiley's was brought up, stuff has changed and helped. The police department has a camera, which makes me very angry. That camera that is sitting up there catching a crime at PAVE could be in my neighborhood association that we're in a crisis of a high crime area. You cannot tell me all the security downtown plus PAVE security and we're having all these fights and they can't control their stuff here. So, when is a normal call for service? What number do you have to reach that is considered too high? These officers are telling me 90 calls for service in a year is high. I don't know. We never put a number on it with city. I'm telling you right now. Y'all think that the hospitals are stressed with COVID? When I heard from these officers, they're stressed. It is their duty, we do pay their taxes to fight crime. But when do we cut the boundaries? When do we put it on the responsibility of the owners of the club and the landlords? That's when that nuisance house ordinance comes into effect to hold landlords accountable. And this is what we need here. And the Multi-Housing Association had contacted y'all about that, some of y'all's council members. I don't know what we're gonna do with PAVE. It's very disturbing. PAVE needs to get their act together. And I'm speaking on behalf of the 4 police officers. We do not need police officers on medical duty because of fights and their patrons are putting the police in headlocks and beating them on top of their heads. We have an issue. I understand that y'all in a tough spot. I totally get that. I'm in a tough spot because I'm the one that took on the challenge of it. I don't know the owners of PAVE and I really don't care. We need to address this issue and we need to help the police to fight this crime at PAVE.
All right, thank you. Anyone else here to speak on any of these items? Please come forward. Good evening.
My name is Jeff Dans. I own Zambro's Variety downtown, and I live above my store. And what she's been telling you is I'm a night owl, and I don't think many of you are familiar with what it's like on Friday and Saturday night after 11 o'clock. But I want to back up a minute. When PAVE finished that building, they invited people from downtown to attend a meeting so Lewis Drug could tell us what was going to be in their new store. But before the meeting started, one of the investors in PAVE told us about their new facility and told us it was going to be an upscale supper club and craft cocktail bar. We were excited to hear that. It would be a nice addition to downtown. But within months of their opening, it was very clear that their operation was not an upscale supper club, and in my opinion, did not fit well downtown. So when I opened the paper one day to see a picture on the front page of the new Lewis Drug with the PAVE patio on top, I called City Hall and I asked when the conditional use permit hearing would be for that expansion of PAVE. And I was surprised to be told that there would be no conditional use hearing for the expansion of PAVE because it was expanding into an address that was formerly a bar. I was surprised by that. And now I wish we had had that opportunity to talk about what the conditions would be for operating the first rooftop bar downtown on a very prime intersection of downtown. What my experience has been is that at 11 o'clock, the exterior sound system on that upper deck is cranked, and I'm not exaggerating, it is cranked up, and it is a clarion call to come to PAVE. I live above my store, which is a brick and mortar building, and lately, partly because of COVID and watching all of the unsocial distancing that has gone on Friday and Saturday nights downtown, I put a decibel reading app on my Apple phone, and I stand about the distance I am from the mayor from the front of my building, which has 2 windows, but they are thermal panes, and it goes from 50 to 70. 70 decibels, 60 is the average. That goes on until 1:30 in the morning, and then it shuts off. And that's when they're walking around saying it's time to go home. We don't need to have the discussion about noise that we had with the previous applicant, because unless you have changed the noise ordinance, there is to be no amplified sound outside after 11 p.m. That is, in fact, when they turn it up. I go out for walks late at night, and I'm surprised at the scene. In the summer and nice weather, there's a whole thing out front, and there's usually 2 police cars parked there. Since the completion of the parking ramp and the opening up of that alley in the back, there's a scene going on back there. Now, I'm realistic, and I know you're not going to take away their livelihood, but it bothers me when we have this sense of neighborhood. I've been down there for 32 years, and I've watched how hard the city has worked, how hard DTSF has worked, how hard the neighborhood has come together to make downtown the inviting place for people to live, work, and be entertained. It's a place we're all proud of, and we invite people to come and see it. And every day I hear from visitors about what a wonderful downtown we have. But I'm afraid we're going to lose it. We're going to be back to that 30 years ago when people are talking about it's not safe to go downtown. I know that's not the case. And I know, I'm not saying PAVE's making it unsafe, but they are creating a very unattractive scene downtown, and as we just heard, creating a lot of police activity. So what I would like to see this body do in regards to PACE renewal is encourage them to make some substantial improvements. Number one, obey the noise ordinance. Stop your music outdoors at 11 o'clock. There are people, we finally got residency downtown.
Jeff, I'll give you 30 more seconds here.
The Boyce Greeley building has been developed, and there are a few places, second-story lofts up and down our block. I have friends who live in the Boyce Greeley building who have called the 2 last weekends because they were awakened on a Saturday night by the noise from PAVE. At first they think it's Lucky's, and then they realize it's coming from a block and a half away, or a block away. So they called them both last weekends, and they did call and talk to PAVE's
Thanks, Jeff.
You're probably going to ask me if I tried talking to PAVE's management, and I have to be honest and say no.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate the input.
Several years ago,
Jeff,
I called, am I done?
you are done.
Okay.
It's over 5 minutes. We're on 6 minutes here. I've got to keep the meeting moving.
I'm sorry, I still see 52 seconds here.
No, that's 52 seconds over, so you bet. Thank you. All right. Anyone else here to speak on this item? All right, let's move into, or let's get a motion on the floor, and then we'll move into some discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve items 20, 21, and 22.
Second, Jensen.
All right, motion by Erickson, second by Jensen to approve these. Discussion, council, on these.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Starr.
If I could, I'd love to have the applicant, I had a chance to speak with them yesterday, but I'd like them to come forward maybe and just kind of address some of this and their role in downtown.
Is the applicant here tonight? Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and the council. John, come on. Leg fell asleep. My name is Alex Hallback, and I work for Cutler Law Firm. And I am here with John Geiken, who's the general manager and owner of PAVE. And first of all, I'd just like to apologize for our absence at the meeting on the 17th. There was a misunderstanding regarding scheduling, and so, but we are here tonight, obviously, to make ourselves available and answer any questions that the council may have about any issues relating to the liquor license renewal. So, thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Hi, I apologize. My name is John Geiken. I'm general manager and part owner. Again, I apologize for not making the last meeting. I actually had surgery on my Achilles and my foot and couldn't walk. So I apologize for that, but I'm an open book. I'm here to answer any questions or concerns.
Questions from the council, specific questions for John, or?
Talk a little bit about some of the things we talked about last night.
Sure.
I mean, the security that you have, the concerns in the neighborhood, because I know when we look, Chief Burns sent us, the entire council, a list of the call volume or calls for service.
Sure.
Explain some of that it's not all from you. Because one of the things that we get really I'm concerned about, and I think the rest of the council does too, is we see an objective number for calls for service, but then they don't necessarily relate to you on the one side. And on the other side, the other is that we want you to call the police when there's an issue. So we don't ever want to send that message that we're discouraging you because you're worried about your license, that you're not doing the right thing for when you need help, that you call for that help. So just a quick overview of the little bit of time we spent yesterday.
And we actually met with a captain of the police department and one of the city attorneys this summer, and they were there to discuss some things that were happening actually across the street behind the diner parking lot. And we kind of explained that, well, it's primarily people that actually aren't even allowed to come into our establishment because they've been kicked out for any number of reasons, whether it's they're trying to come in with a fake ID or they're rude or whatever, et cetera. And we told them how, well, they kind of party out there. They bring vehicles with TVs and music, and it's crazy, actually. And we were asked to call whenever we see people out there drinking, partying. So we took it upon ourselves to call these people in, just doing what we were asked to do. And, you know, I'm not going to stand up here and say that we haven't had a fight or two outside of the bar, in the bar. We have. I mean, our occupancy levels just under 1,000 people. I'm very proud of how many happen compared to most. It's very few. We go above and beyond to help with this, as far as we have 90 cameras at PAVE. I've helped without being asked, without asking for a subpoena or anything. If they come and ask us about, hey, someone vandalized a business downtown, can you check your cameras? Boom, I burn it. Give them a USB that day. There was a shooting just right outside in the parking lot. I stayed there till 4:30 in the morning, seeing if we could find video. Had nothing to do with us, but I don't care. That's fine. I just want to be able to help if we can. And I feel like our security staff does a great job, actually. We have scanners, and we use an app that we pay $50 a month for that they use in Las Vegas clubs. We're the only business bar in Sioux Falls, South Dakota that uses it. We catch numerous people trying to use fake IDs. I don't, to my knowledge, we have had any drink or alcohol violations. We try our best to do what we can to help. And I guess I'm just, I shouldn't say confused. I'm just trying to do what we can to answer any questions and help and be there to help our community as well. And I know someone previously stated how they hadn't spoke to a general manager. I have emails to prove that's not right. We have spoken, and it was very civil, and I guess I'm confused where it's coming from. I talked to Dominic today from the health department, and he told me that there has been, since our patio opened, one call. One call. We invested a lot of time, effort, and money into how the sound projects from PAVE. We brought in specialists from Chicago to help with us on that matter, just so that we wouldn't be disturbing residents downtown, because at that time when we were building our patio, it was actually right around the time of Icon. And we went out of our way to say, we're not going to do that. So we've had decibel readings done. We've never been in violation of it. And even with that being said, hearing now, sorry, my leg, even now hearing that we have neighbors upset, I would love to work on that. What we can do to help is, take a step in the right direction and try and find a solution. And I'm more than willing to do that.
All right, thanks, John. Any other questions for John while we have him here, council? All right, not hearing any. Thanks,
Thank you.
John.
Sorry again for
no problem. All right, any other discussion on these items, 20 to 22? There's a motion and a second for approval. All right, hearing none, let's take a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale? Yes. Starr?
Yes.
Brecky?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
That passes 8 to 0. Next item, please.
Next item is 24. It's a second reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of the city by amending Chapter 39, Personnel Regulations and Benefits, Retirement and Pensions, Section 39.183, Maximum Balance and Payment.
Hey, Bill.
Good evening, Council. Bill O'Toole from Human Resources. I'll be brief. The purpose of this ordinance is a recommendation that we remove the annual vacation cap carryover requirements within city ordinance and allow our city employees the more time to use their vacation. Obviously, 2020 has been a challenging year for many of us to get our vacations. This isn't a cost item. It's just kind of a recognition, allow more time. We did an analysis of employees who risked losing these vacation balances at the year end, and we identified about 328 employees. We think this is a good move. There's companion pieces on agenda item 37, 38, and 39 that will accomplish the same thing so that we engage in this process for all of our employees. We just urge your support, and I'd be happy to answer questions you have.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone from the public here to speak on this item? All right, councilors, you got any questions for Bill on this? Look for a motion, please.
Move approval, Jensen.
Second, Sale.
All right, motion by Jensen, seconded by Sale to approve. Any discussion, council? All right, we'll vote on it, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale?
Yes.
Starr?
Yes.
Brecky? Erickson?
Yes.
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Next item, please.
Next item is item 25, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 3635 West Platinum Point Place from the RD2 Townhome Residential Suburban District to the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District, number 1311-9-2020, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicants, Lloyd Companies, Drew O'Brien.
Jason, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Jason Bieber representing Planning and Development Services. This is an application and the owner is Lloyd Companies. It's located at 3635 West Platinum Point, just west of Louise and north of 85th Street. It's about 4.53 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is Lloyd Companies has purchased all of these properties and no longer going to be operating them as a townhome and sale. They want to rent all of them, so we're changing the zoning for apartments on this specific lot. So,
All right, thanks, Jason. Anyone here from the public to speak on this one? Councilors, any questions here?
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Starr.
All right, motion by Erickson, seconded by Starr to approve. Any discussion? All right, let's take a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale?
Yes.
Starr?
Yes.
Brecky?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item.
Next item is 26, and second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 705 South Blauvelt Avenue from the I-1 Light Industrial and RS Single Family Residential Suburban Districts to the RD2 Townhome Residential Suburban District number 13153-2020, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicants, Lifescape, Richard DeSanto.
the applicant and owner here is Lifescape. It's located at 705 South Blauvelt Avenue. It's about 0.6 acres in size. Purpose of this rezoning is Lifescape's looking at constructing a community residential home on the lot. There'll be 2 sides with 4 bedrooms per side.
All right, thank you, Jason. Anyone from the public here to speak on this one? Councilors, do you have any questions for Jason on this?
Move approval, Sale.
Second, Star.
Motion by Sale, seconded by Starr to approve this item. Any discussion here? Hearing none, let's take a vote.
Councilmembers Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson, Jensen.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Next item.
Next item is 27, second reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at the northwest corner of North Ellis Road and West Dockside Drive from the pedestrian-oriented PUD district to the RD2 Townhome Residential Suburban District, number 13155-2020, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicants, Jans Corporation, Dale Jans.
The applicant and owner here is Jans Corporation. It's located north of West 12th Street and west of North Ellis Road. It's roughly 4.62 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing some single-family, twin homes, and townhomes on this lot.
All right, anyone from the public here to speak on this item? Councilors, any questions for Jason here?
Move approval, Star.
Second, Sale.
All right, motion by Starr, seconded by Sale. Any discussion here? All right, hearing none, let's take a vote, please.
Councilmembers Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Item 28.
Item 28 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 1312 North Archer Drive from the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District to the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District, number 13179-2020, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicant, G&D Har Construction, LLC, Gary Har.
The applicant and owner here is Gary Har. It's located east of North Cleveland Avenue and south of East Rice Street. It's about 0.44 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing a twin home on this lot.
All right, anyone from the public here to speak on this one? Councilors, you got any questions here?
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Star.
Motion by Erickson, seconded by Starr to approve. Any discussion on it? Let's take a vote, please.
Councilmembers Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Next item.
Item 29 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 812 South Grange Avenue from the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District to the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District, number 13187-2020, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicants, Bluegill Properties, LLC, Blaine Fopma.
This is located just northeast of Sanford's main campus off of Grange Avenue. It's about 0.16 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is just looking at converting the existing house into a duplex.
All right, anyone from the public here to speak on this item? Councilors, do you have any questions for Jason on this? Look for a motion.
Move approval, Sale.
Second, Jensen.
All right, motion by Sale, seconded by Jensen on this. Any discussion? All right, we'll call a vote, please.
Councilmembers Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Next item.
Item 30 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 4201 North Marion Road from the RA2 Apartment Residential Moderate Density District to the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District, number 13189-2020, and amending the official zoning map of the city of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicants, Hazeltine Partners LLC, Steve Van Buskirk.
The applicant here is Steve Van Busker. It's located south of West 54th Street North and west of North Marion Road. It's about 3.45 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is they're looking at constructing twin homes on this lot.
Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Councilors, any questions here?
Move approval, Star.
Second, Sale.
Motion by Star, seconded by Sale to approve. Discussion, council? All right, hearing none, we'll call a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item.
Next item is 31, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located south of East Madison Street and North Willow Creek Avenue from the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District to the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District, number 13190, 2020, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicants, 6 Mile Partners, Steve Van Buskirk.
The applicant here is also Steve Van Buskirk. It's located south of East Madison Street and east of North 6 Mile Road. It's just under an acre in size, and the applicant is looking at constructing twin homes on the lots that are adjacent to Madison Street on the north side of this development.
Anyone from the public here to speak on this one tonight? Councilors, got any questions for Jason here?
Move approval, Star.
Second, Sale.
All right, motion by Star, seconded by Sale to approve this item. Discussion, councilors. All right, hearing none, let's take a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Next item.
Item 32 is a second reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 100 East 85th Street from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District, number 13194, 2020, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicants, MK Investments LLC, Erica Mullally.
The applicant here is Erica Mullally. It's located north of West 85th Street and just east of where Veterans Parkway will come down and cross over 85th Street. It's about 6.83 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing some 2-story apartments on the lot.
All right, thanks, Jason. Anyone from the public here to speak on this one? Councilors, you got any questions for Jason on this?
Move approval, Nitzert.
Second, Jensen.
All right, motion approved by Nitzert, seconded by Jansen. Discussion amongst the council here. All right, hearing none, let's take a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Item 33.
Item 33 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, repealing Ordinance 8920, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the mayor to sign the underground electric easement and agreement and to grant an easement to Northern States Power Company within McKinnon Park. Sponsors the mayor.
Stacy, you want the floor on this?
Yeah, sure, Mayor, thank you. 33 and 34 are actually companion ordinances that we discussed last week, which is at the time that this ordinance was drafted, the understanding was that it was NSP that was the power provider and owner of this line. It was subsequently discovered that such was Verizon, and so 33 is repealing the prior ordinance, and 34 is correctly identifying Verizon as the owner.
Got it. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this? Councilors, do you have any questions on this item?
Move approval, Star.
Second, Jensen.
All right, motion by Star, seconded by Jensen to approve this. Any discussion here? All right, let's take a vote,
Mayor?
please. Go ahead, Counselor Brecky.
Question for the city attorney. Is this the agreement that has the perpetual easement that is not terminated at the end of the agreement?
Easements tend to run with the land as a matter of law, so I believe they would be perpetual. That's my understanding as we sit here, so.
That it isn't unique to Northern States Power, and after the agreement terminates, the easement still exists?
Correct. Yeah, well, and this one again is repealing, yeah, the subsequent one would be for Verizon.
Okay. But, well then, how does it work is it shifting them from Northern States to Verizon? Or does Northern States still have access to the easement because it's not tied to the agreement?
Right, they would not. It's, as an ordinance, it would be distinct from the agreement is my understanding. So this would be repealing the ordinance, creating that easement, thus extinguishing it and replacing it with this one.
So then it does shift as to who it applies to.
Correct. Yeah, it's, right. It's my understanding that at that time it was just, in effect, it's a house cleaning measure in the sense that at the time there was that misunderstanding.
Okay, thank you.
All right, ma'am. Any other discussion on this one, council? All right, let's take a vote, please.
Councilmember Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale, Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson, Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Next item.
Next item is 34, is second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the mayor to sign the underground electric easement and agreement and to grant an easement to ComNet Cellular Incorporated, doing business as Verizon Wireless within McKinnon Park. Sponsor is the mayor.
All right, anyone from the public here to speak on this item? Councilors, do you have any questions for Stacy on this companion item here? All right, look for a motion.
Move approval, Jensen.
Second, Sale.
Motion by Jensen, seconded by Sale. Any discussion on this, council? All right, let's take a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Next item, please.
Item 35 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of the market at Grand Prairie Development 13193-2020. The Planning Commission recommends approval 4-0. Private applicant AE2S, Kevin Smith.
The applicant here is Kevin Smith. The owner is Joel Dykstra. It's located at the southwest corner of East 77th Street and South Cliff Avenue. It's about 21.5 acres in size. The purpose of this subdivision plan is they're looking to subdivide the land for 9 lots for commercial uses and 5 lots for residential uses.
All right, thanks, Jason. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak on this? Councilors, you got any questions here? Look for a motion.
Move approval, Sale.
Second, Jensen.
All right, motion by Sale, seconded by Jensen to approve this. Any discussion here? All right, hearing none, let's take a vote on it, please.
Councilmember Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 8-0. Next item.
Next item is 36, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign Bridge Improvement Grant, BIG, application resolution for the preservation or rehabilitation of various bridges in Sioux Falls. Sponsors the mayor.
Kurt?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Kurt Peppel, Public Works Engineering. Item 36, a resolution allowing the mayor to sign a grant application for bridge rehab funding. Just a little history on our bridges and what we have going on. We have about 50 structures that are in this program. Bridges and box culverts over 20 feet long, used for vehicle traffic, We do some inspections on certain intervals, and we hire a consultant to help us do these inspections and evaluations. Just a quick look at what we were approved for a year ago. And we have 3 of those projects in the queue that we'll be looking at bidding here fairly soon. And one of them, we're still working out some details. Again, this is just for the mayor to sign the application that we would be looking for some funding. The specific structure that we're going to be looking at is on Benson Road near the airport over the diversion channel. Working with our consultant, we've identified some bridge rehab that needs to be done on that structure, some standard maintenance that we typically see, and some other items, upgrading some light poles and such. The application, the estimate that the consultant has put together, we'd be looking at $2.3 million for grant funds and then have a local match of almost $600,000. That's just a quick look at the bridge with the airport on the left, and engineering requests your support and approval.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Anyone from the public who would like to speak on this tonight? Councilors, you got any questions for Kurt on this? I'd take a motion.
So moved, Jensen.
Second, Erickson.
Motion by Jensen, seconded by Erickson to approve this. Any discussion on it? All right, hearing none, let's call a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Item 37.
Item 37 is a resolution approving the memorandum of understanding for police officers and sergeants, Sioux Falls Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 1 LC. Sponsor is the mayor.
Bill?
Good evening, council. Items 37, 38, and 39, as I mentioned before, companions to item 24. It's just dealing with the various employee groups. It accomplishes the same thing, but there's another mechanism for which we do it. Those employees are governed by collective bargaining agreements. Requires us to enter into an MOU to change those terms. This is a resolution approving those terms. Again, simply removing the vacation accrual maximum for 2020. It goes back into place the following year. Simply a recognition of the demands of COVID-19, and I know our employees would greatly appreciate consideration for these proposals. And item 38 will deal with the firefighters, and item 39 will deal with AFSCME, all doing the same thing. I don't know if we can do an efficiency move here, but I'll stand by for each of those as well.
Attaboy. Sounds good, Bill. Anyone from the public here to speak on that item? All right, councilors, do you have any questions for Bill on this?
Move approval, Sale.
Second, Erickson.
All right, motion by Sale, seconded by Erickson to approve this. Any discussion? All right, let's vote on it, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale, Starr,
Yes.
Brecky, Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie,
Yes.
Brecky.
All right, that item passes 7-0. Move on to next item.
I'm sorry, I had trouble with my mute button. I'm a yes.
All right, we will mark that appropriately. It passes 8-0.
Item 38, a resolution approving the memorandum of understanding for Local 814 International Association of Firefighters.
Anyone from the public here to speak on this item? All right, councilors, do you have any questions for Bill on it?
Move approval, Sale.
Second, Jensen.
Motion by Sale, seconded by Jensen. Any discussion here? All right, hearing none, let's vote on it.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. Next item, please.
Item 39 is a resolution approving the memorandum of understanding for Local 519 American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. Sponsors the mayor.
All right, anyone to speak on this one for AFSCME? All right, can I get a motion?
Move approval, Starr.
Second, Sale.
All right, motion by Starr, seconded by Sale. Any discussion here? All right, hearing none, let's vote on it, please.
Councilmember Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
All right, that passes 8-0. We'll move on to the next item.
A resolution approving the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Sioux Falls and American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. Sponsors the mayor.
Good evening, Mr. Sage.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Ryan Sage from the City Attorney's Office. It's my privilege to be here before you tonight on the third and final collective bargaining agreement between the city and our, employee unions. First, I want to give a little credit out to Tanner Corbin and Jason Ness from AFSCME. We held numerous sessions. It was a pleasure to work with them as always. Some spirited discussions, some great policy discussions and concerns, and we've reached an agreement that's very good for those employees. Highlights of this agreement involve a 3-year agreement taking us through 2023. We do have wage reopener language. Given the economic uncertainty from COVID, we reached a 1% COLA for 2021, and we'll be back to the bargaining table next year to discuss economics and future COLAs or future monetary incentives. A couple other items we put into the contract to make it a little bit more incentivizing for the employees as they received an additional personal day. We recognize that funds are a little bit tighter, and so we're looking for a way to reward our employees for the dedication that they've put in during these difficult times. The second is volunteer time off. The mayor signed an executive order encouraging community engagement for the large majority of our employees. This just formalizes that within the union contract. And a couple other changes was we removed the waiting period for the use of vacation time and a leave of absence to allow a little more flexibility for our employees that once we've hired them, we trust them to make the appropriate decisions. So with that, I have nothing further to add to this. We will be around for questions, and I encourage a yes vote on this resolution to show our employees that we're here with them during these difficult times. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Anyone from the public here to speak on this item tonight? Councilors, do you have any questions for Mr. Sage on this? All right, can I get a motion?
Move
Mr.
approval,
Mayor.
Jensen.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to take the motion first. Is there a second for this
Second.
motion? All right, second by Councilor Starr. Councilor Starr, floor is
Yes,
yours.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would move to defer this item to Tuesday, December 8th.
All right,
Second, Erickson.
okay. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, please. Just the quick version is we got this late last week. It's going to take us a week to digest where the money's coming from and the information that we received. I'm excited about it. I've been here long enough, over 4 years, to watch a lot of unhappy labor times, and this really gets us to a chance where, well, let's call it labor peace, and to reward our employees. But what I'm asking my fellow councilors is to just take a week to digest the information we received late last week on a holiday weekend. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion, a second on that motion to defer. We will, is there other discussion on that? I should ask for that.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Shale, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will tell you, the public and those people that are sitting here, it will be very hard for me to vote against the labor contract that the union and the city have come to agreement. Several council members have asked for a deferment for a week so they can digest this better. And I've been assured that it will not affect any pay raises that could go into effect in 2021. So out of courtesy to the other councilors that need some more time, I will vote to defer, but I thoroughly intend to vote for the contract when the final vote comes forward.
All right, thank you, Councilor. Other discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilor.
Ditto exactly what Councilor Sale said. I agree completely.
All right. Other discussion here? All right, hearing none, we'll take a vote on the motion to defer to December 8th.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
No.
Kylie.
No.
All right, that passes 6-2, so that will be deferred until next week. We'll move on to our next item, item 41.
Item 41 is a resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards, those being for the Disability Awareness and Accessibility Review Board, Carolyn Lai Donovan, Lacey Hutchins, Morgan Jackson, Sarah Jorgensen, Nicholas Coomer, Kelly Shellhaas, Katie Seymour, Tana Zwart. For the Mechanical Board of Appeals and Examiners, Dave Weber, Chris Wegg. For the Multicultural Center Board of Directors, Kelly Herman. For the Parks and Recreation Board, Brooke Wegener. Planning Commission is Dana Fisher. Plumbing Board of Appeals and Examiners, Jeremy Etram and Mike Marshall.
All right, anyone from the public like to speak on this item? Councilors, you got any questions here?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
just if any of them are here, it'd be nice to recognize them.
Yeah, I don't believe any of them are.
Thank you.
This is, I will just add though, this is a real crack list of people. There's some really great people on this that are serving, and it's a good time to remind people that these are all volunteer positions. City has a ton of opportunities to serve on boards and commissions if anyone's ever interested. So I'd entertain a motion on this.
Move to approve, Sale.
Second, Starr.
All right, motion by Sale, seconded by Starr to approve this. Any discussion here? All right, let's take a vote.
Councilmembers Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yep.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Next item.
Item 42, notice of transfer of appropriations on the memorandum dated November 27th, 2020.
All right, and then we got one item of new business, item 43.
Item 43, motion to appoint Ryan Lossing as internal auditor, sponsors council members Kylie and Selberg.
Are you going to speak to this, ma'am?
Yes, Mayor Paul.
You can have it.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm excited to come before you tonight and request your support to fill our internal audit position. Ryan Lossing rose to the top as a finalist for the position by the hiring committee. The committee consisted of one council member, one audit committee member, myself, and was facilitated by human resources. Ryan completed his undergraduate in health service administration and graduate degrees in business administration at USD. He would join this team with experience in financial analysis, statistical data analysis, project management, and business strategy development. And if you have any further questions, I can answer them.
All right, thank you, Shawna. Anyone from the public here to speak on this item? Is Ryan here by chance? We didn't want to do this to him? Yeah, okay.
I will move to approve. Erickson.
Second, Jensen.
All right, motion by Erickson, seconded by Jensen to approve this. Any discussion on it, council? All right, hearing none, let's take a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yep.
Starr,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson, Jensen,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Any additional new business, council?
Second.
All right, motion by Erickson, seconded by Sale to adjourn us. All those in favor say yes. All those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.